What's up, guys? Welcome to the NYXUS podcast. Tonight I have David Reed Watson from the band Alchemy Fire. What's up, David?
Hello.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you, Ben, once again for sending me another amazing artist my way. So
Thank
give
you.
us a quick introduction.
Um, well, I'm the lead singer for Alchemy Fire. We recorded this album a few years ago now, starting in 2018, 2019, um, where I don't know if you're familiar with the history, but Paul, the guitar player, flew to Florida and actually met up with, hey, Death Pigeon. That's pretty cool. uh, Met up with Tom. Tom's our drummer. He was a drummer for Soil as well. That was his band, and they started writing songs together. And then from there, I flew out to England in 2019 and recorded all the vocals out there at Misha Nikolik's studio. And then we just started adding players. We got a bass player for the album, um, who's in the movie world. He's an actor, does a lot of stunt work, stuff like that. So
Very
can't
cool.
commit to a band. So he did the bass work on the album, and the same thing with a keyboard player. We got a studio keyboard player, and then we added on the members afterwards. Felipe playing bass, who's on the album with us. Well, in the band now with us, and Neil, who's a keyboard player. And we just got a new uh, guitar player, and his name is Wayne Dorman. And I don't know if you're familiar with Wayne at all, but he comes from a little band called Obituary.
Oh,
I take that back.
a little
not,
band.
it's not Obituary. I'm sorry. That's that's Wayne Dorman, from Westfield, Massachusetts. I was just reading his obituary, and I'm like, oh, Dave, no. Um, yeah. Oh, that's horrible. So I just found out that one of my friends died.
Oh well, wow.
Yeah,
My
not a,
condolences.
yeah, yeah. That's weird. No, Wayne's from the band Onslaught, so pardon me for that faux pas. And so we're happy to have him on board, and they're actually in the writing works right now to write our second album. I know that you've got the first album. Um,
Yes.
that we're going for our sophomore album now. Just because that first album was a big learning lesson for us. I'm not saying uh, it's bad by any means, but it was recorded much differently than what we wanted. Tom, his double bass work is very profound, Um, and when I got in the band, I think that they were thinking they were going to get a singer what he had with Soil. Um, you know, but I'm more of a, well, you've heard me. I'm more. I'm not. I scream, but I'm a singer, and
Oh, you got
probably a little.
you got some power vocals, like you have those. I mean, it's
Thank you,
very very nice vocals.
thank you.
Before we keep going, I just want to make sure that we're good to keep going with the interview. I mean, reading something like this can shake somebody. I mean, so I just want to make sure that you're still good to go even after reading what you just read.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. That's sweet. That's sweet of you. Um, yeah, yeah. Weird. What a way to start.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. The fun of live TV, the fun of live streaming, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
everybody knows that I'm big on, mental health and everything like that. So I just want to make sure that we're good to go. And if anything, you just let me know and I'll turn us right off
Nope.
of live.
No, we're totally cool. Totally
All
cool.
right, all right. So let's push this and let's keep going with the interview. So
Yeah.
let's go back. When did everything start? When did the I want to do music came to be?
Oh, for me, um, very early on. I've had to I've had to get references from my mom. I've actually called my mom and said, "Mom, I'm getting these questions in interviews, and I really don't know how to answer them because I don't remember. I don't remember before 7 years old, really. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not too aware of that. My dad had left when we were seven, so it was I don't know, trauma that I'm still working on, I guess. Even though my dad and I have a great relationship now, but my mom said that I used to, so those old stereo consoles where they had the record player built into it, and they had these sliding doors on it that had all the knobs for AM and FM, and it looked like a big chest, you know. Um, my mom said that I used to lay underneath it as a baby just so to feel the vibration, you know. So
Yeah.
then she said when I was early on, when the Beatles' White Album came out, she said that I was singing it, you know, word for word. I had all the melody lines, everything, and so early on, you know, that
So it
was
was always something that was around you. That was you were always into music.
always, and I always said that that's what I wanted to do. Although, you know, I took many different paths before I, you know, became a full time musician. You know, you know, I wanted to do the right thing for my family at the time, and I went right into the Marines when I was 17 and kind of followed family tradition. And yeah, when I got out of the Marines, you know, I got a good job. I was in the design industry, in the, you know, advertising industry for about 25 years.
Very nice.
And yeah, I worked with some great clients, and it was good. It was good. But, you know, in 2010, I mean, I had granted, you know, this is kind of like a brief synopsis, but you know, for years I did albums. I still recorded with bands. I still did that. I never toured or anything like that, though. I would play out local clubs or whatever, whatever. Um, but in 2010, my sister, 2008, 2009, right around there, she she got autoimmune disease called Sjogren's. It's spelled Sjogren, and it's a autoimmune disease where your body loses all fluids. So I went out to see her out in Connecticut at the time and to see if she how she was doing. And in a brief summary, she was like, "I'm dying, and I can't. You know, I've." She's like, "You've got a great voice. Why aren't you using it?" And I go, I am." And she goes, "No, I mean, like, really, you've got a gift, and why don't you share it with the world?" And so when she passed, I kept my promise, and I was living in Colorado at the time, and it worked kind of perfectly. Um, we had an account. One of our accounts was VW, and we had lost the account, and so they laid off 300 of us. So it was divine timing. It was perfect time for me to keep my promise to her and get out of Dodge. So you know, I packed up my 4x4, you know, lifted Toyota Tacoma and my dog Tango, my golden retriever, and we hightailed it out to Los Angeles. And I did an album with a band called The Constant out there. We almost finished the second one, but you know, we mastered it at Capitol Records, and that was pretty cool to actually walk into that building and be part of that machine, you know. Um, it was kind of like from there I couldn't stop, and I kept going, kept going, kept going, kept going. I've been I've been very blessed to do quite a few albums. Um, I should say quite a few CDs and quite a few recordings, because the Alchemy Fire album is my first ever vinyl in all these years. So I think that this is album number 12 for me.
Very
So
nice.
yeah, so doing this was like, oh wow. it's extra special, you know. So
Of course it is.
yeah,
Well,
I kind
everything lined up for you. You know, it took a bit before you got to making music, but then when the opportunity came, you took it.
yeah, yeah. I've done a lot in my life, you know. Also in that time around 2010, I got my Reiki 1 certification, and then eventually got to Reiki Master. So
Nice.
I'm actually a Reiki teacher as well. So that keeps me fairly grounded, um, and just plug away with the music as much as I can. I try to get as many gigs as I can, and you know, right here uh, in Las Vegas, I do basically just an acoustic show right now. Kind of waiting for us to start taking off with the next album, start recording that with Alchemy Fire.
So you guys are, it's pretty quiet. Did did you guys ever tour?
No, no, we haven't
Not yet.
toured yet. I mean, we've all toured individually.
Yes.
You know, Tom toured for 10 plus years with Soil and Oppressor. Um, you know, he was out with Pantera. He was out with some really big bands for a while, and his singer ended up going to the band Drowning Pool, which you're probably familiar with, and
Yes.
so he's got extensive touring. I got to tour, you know, Canada, U.S., and Europe as well. So I got a good taste for it. The other guys haven't toured yet, but they're really ready to. And I think with our touring history, after being on tour buses and traveling around everywhere, it's not set in stone, but I think we're probably going to stick with festivals as much as we can.
Yeah.
Um, you know, the life on a tour bus is not easy, and it's very expensive now. I think the prices have doubled, you know.
Oh, everything's more expensive. Food's more expensive. The gas is
Y-
more expensive. Like it's everything is.
Yep,
Sorry,
yep.
there's a lot of background noise, and there's a cranky little one. I mean, he's usually gone on Friday nights with his daddy, but he's sick right now, so
Oh, poor kid.
he's staying home, and he's very cranky. So
Uh,
anybody that's familiar with the podcast knows the chicken nugget code. Well, chicken nugget is sick tonight, so
oh,
Death
poor
Pigeon
kid.
says so expensive currently. Death Pigeon is in the UK, so
Oh, okay.
even over there,
Where in the UK are you, Death Pigeon?
hmm I should know that because I have talked with JD before, but I have so many people, so many interviews, and
All right.
very bad ADHD. So I details like that. I
It's okay. He's in Bristol.
There
Okay,
you go.
awesome, awesome.
Thanks, Mark.
Paul, Paul, our guitar player, lives in the Nottingham area, and Paul lives down in Birmingham, and I think Felipe is down south, so I think he's east of London
Okay.
out there. So yeah, so we've got four members, while Wayne is up in the Nottingham area as well. So we've got four members in the UK, and me and Tom here in the US.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
I mean, it, it, there's so many bands now that work like that, and it works so well. Uh, what 10 years ago, let's say we couldn't have done this.
you're right.
Have bands like half in the UK, half in I had a band during COVID too. I was in Canada. The guys were in the US. So the technology, what how throughout your career, like how would you say that what got better and what could have gotten better?
Well, I come from one of the one of the one of the very first recordings I did early on. I recorded on tape. So so being in a recording studio and recording on tape is very magical. You know, everything after that was digital,
Yep.
which is good, but the warmth of it was tough. And plus, watching those big reels go around was was intimidating because everything's going on tape, and you're like, oh boy.
And
Um,
you can't just keep redoing it and redoing it and
no,
redoing it.
you can't. You
You,
can't. It's kind of get, have it down before you go in. And I love that. I love that because the other beautiful thing about recording on tape was the spontaneity. Like on one of the recordings I did, I just kind of there were parts on it I changed on the fly. I was like, you know what, this will sound better, and I just did it, and it stuck. And part of why it stuck is because it was very expensive to redo multiple takes.
yeah.
Not like today where you can just punch in. Oh crap, I missed that word, and you punch in. It's 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 it was a lot more difficult back then. Hello world, hey Geo.
What's
It was,
up,
it was
Geo?
a lot more difficult back then because you'd really have to have you have to have your shit together.
Oh yeah.
So the pitfalls today doing remote recording. I mean, I did the vocals, in England with the guitar player. So I was halfway part of it. I wasn't doing everything via
Remotely.
the internet. Um, but doing to me, I feel like you lose the feel. So I had a friend of mine. I'm going to name drop right now. His name's Michael Lardy, and Michael Lardy is in the band Great White. And one day we were sitting in the kitchen and we started talking about vinyl and CDs. And I asked him, I go, all the albums that Great White did on vinyl, what do you think about CDs? And he told me that the algorithms with the way that compact discs compress everything, it takes the soul out of it. Like there's an ethereal presence to vinyl. Um, I can tell you, give you an example. There's a few examples, but the Rolling Stones did a song, "Give Me Shelter." Are you familiar with the song?
Yeah.
Well, when the woman is yelling at the end when she's singing, her voice cracks. She just hit this note. It was so powerful, and her voice cracks. On the record, you hear the band in the control room go, "Whoa," you know. So you get it's almost like CDs lost that compressed music lost that whole feeling that they were creating in the studio. It's
Yeah.
very
I
yeah,
was
it's very
talking with
generic.
Rob Volkov, that's a friend of ours, and that's what he was saying. Like now, when you record, especially for singers, like the first time I recorded, like the producers were like, "Well, you need to record with no effects at all." I mean,
Hmm.
I can't record my voice with no effects. It's too flat. It's too you gotta have a little bit of, and that's what you were
Right.
saying when you were recording analog. That was the warmth. That was the now digital with no effects at all. It's cold. It,
Yes.
it's flat, and no
Yes,
matter
it
how
is
much
flat.
you try to push it, it always sounds flat. So
Yeah.
that's yeah.
And as technology gets better, I mean, my laptop that I have right now, I can see musicians struggling and the feel of the song yeah. Yeah, definitely producers can definitely have an effect with that for sure. Because there are a lot of great producers out there that have only worked with digital, so they know how to manipulate
Yep.
something, which is great. You know, um, but you're absolutely right. When you're recording vocals, having a little bit of reverb on there is it if anything, it makes you feel a little bit more confident. You know,
Absolutely.
because it's Yeah, I record with just a little bit of reverb on my vocals, and for the rest, pretty much dry. Um, and a lot of that was because of latency. You know, before I got this laptop that we're talking on right now, this is a M1 Macintosh. Before this one, I use well, back in the day I used Pro Tools a lot. Um, now I use Logic and Logic Pro. And back before this computer, I would have a lot of latency. So I would record my vocals in like 32 milliseconds, right?
Yeah.
And then when you go to bounce it, you go to 1024 or 2048, whatever your system will handle. But you want to record with as minimal amount of traffic in there as you possibly can, because in the past, I mean, there's albums that I can't even listen to today, because I hear that latency, and the layman might not hear it. You might not hear it, but I hear it. I remember recording it and going, crap, my vocal's just a little bit behind there. It sounds some spots that your timing's off.
Yeah.
So I had to dealing with latency was probably the biggest pitfall of today, for sure. And the fact that when you're in a recording studio with a bunch of people and everyone's behind the board watching you sing and cheering you on, the best scenario is I had a band in Minnesota called the Rising Force, and we all recorded live. I sat in a control booth and sang through this beautiful Neumann. It was absolutely beautiful. This $7,000 microphone, and the drummer was out there, and the guitars were all mic'd up in control rooms, but they all sat in the room live except for me. I looked at them through a window. So it was great to have that eye contact,
Yeah.
and we're just watching each other and play, and you get some spontaneity in there too. It's like, oh, you know what? Go back and listen to the control room and go, that was pretty cool what you did there. I go, yeah, well, I did that because I saw you, do this one note higher than you normally do on the guitar. And it's so that's magic. That's
Yeah.
that's
There's more play around with yeah, absolutely. I get what you're saying. Well, guys, you guys have been here for a bit. We've been talking, but let's listen. Which one you want to go first, David? You want to go with Alchemy Fire first?
Let's, let's go. I mean, Alchemy is a great song for sure. Yeah. Let's do that. There's a section, and it's kind of hard to hear, but if you get the record or the CD, you can actually read the lyrics for what I'm talking about. It's because Alchemy is it's a breakup of two different things. We've got Western alchemy, which talks about creating, gold from lead or other elements, where in the more Native American tradition, the more Druid tradition, it's more about awakening your third eye and awakening your mind. That's what alchemy is. It's a transgression into a higher self. So yeah.
Awesome. So we're good with Alchemy first, and then later we'll play Native Son.
Okay,
I've been
thank you.
listening since Ben sent me the EPK. I've been listening, and I mean, I really dig it. You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Very, very. Death Pigeon says excellent. Absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank
Did you
you.
write those
I,
lyrics,
for,
David?
yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah. It was, I, like I said, I lived over in England for, metallurgy. Yeah, documentary. I re I living at Paul's house in Nottingham. I can it was so magical there. I lived next to a town which uh, they call it Godom,
Okay.
but us in the U.S. we call it Gotham. And the story behind Gotham, that little town, I used to go down to the pub all the time and hang out with these people. And the story is written on the back wall of Gotham. And what they said is King James back in the 1500s wanted to build a royal highway through Gotham. And back then, they thought insanity was contagious.
Okay.
So all the townspeople decided that they were going to be insane. And there's a story of this cuckoo bird, and the cuckoo bush is a story out in this town. And so the surveyors came to Gotham to just start surveying the land and where they were going to put the royal highway. And of course, the people didn't want this because they would have to pay taxes on it. So the townspeople got together and again claimed insanity. And so that this cuckoo bush that they had built a fence around this bush. And the surveyors were like, "Well, what's this? Why'd you build a fence around this bush?" And they go, "Oh, to keep the cuckoo bird in." And they go, "Well, it's a bird. It'll fly away. It's not caged. It's." And they're like, "Oh, well, we'll just build the wall higher." So eventually, the surveyors went back to the king and they said, "You don't want to build a highway through here because the people are insane." And so
Yeah.
I lived in this kind of magical little hamlet there, Kingston on Soar, and 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 there. Thank you, Paul, for letting me stay with you for 6 months. But I would sit in the backyard and just write lyrics, and I felt like I was, you know, have you ever seen the movie "The Song Remains the Same" from Led Zeppelin? And
No.
well, Robert Plant is walking through fields in England with his kids, and that's what it reminded me of. It's so magical, seeing all the old castles and whatnot, and it was very inspiring for the writing. It, was, it just flowed out easily, very easily.
Very cool. It's always nice to have inspiration,
Yeah.
especially when
Hmm.
it's just there. It's just you can just absorb it and just use it. You know.
Yes, I did
Now, who
to its
would
fullest.
who would be your dream collaboration, dead or alive?
I've said this. I've said this numerous times, and I know the guy. I don't know him personally, but I was actually years ago. I was in a Deep Purple Rainbow tribute for a very brief time, and the drummer of the band and I became friends, and his name is Joey Soto, um, and that's Jeff Scott Soto's brother. And I've worked with Jeff in the capacity of I worked on the Monsters of Rock cruise, so I did hospitality on there. So I was the guy that brought him his ginger beer and stuff like that. Um, and I've talked to him plenty of times. He probably does not know I'm a singer at all, and that's fine. But that would be my dream collaboration because I would love to do it for Joey because I think it'd be a great homage to come full circle like that.
Absolutely, it would be really awesome.
Plus, he's
Fun.
an amazing singer.
I mean, bonus, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go with a fun question. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
If I had a superpower, um, might sound cliche, but I would I mean, my superpower is singing, and I know that vibration and singing heals. I would want to accentuate that even more to where it was an instantaneous healing for people. That would be cool. I'd like to just hit a note and boom, you're healed because there's so many.
Be able to realign somebody's
Yeah,
energy. Just yes, absolutely. Yes,
yeah,
it would be.
I would love that because I get to meet a lot of people doing concerts, and there are a lot of broken people out there. I'm not saying that I'm not as well. It helps me heal, healing others. So yeah, that'd be a cool superpower for sure.
Yeah, there was.
Ah,
You're
boom,
right.
you're done.
Everybody's better, feeling better. At least for a day or so.
Right.
I mean, there's so much bad in this world. There's so much. Every time that we could spread a bit of joy, a bit of energy, it's always music is an awesome way. Music. This is how it met all these amazing people that are here tonight with us.
Yeah.
All through this podcast and music and everybody's love of music. It's pretty incredible. We're on what the 11th month. January is going to be our 1 year anniversary for the podcast. So
Oh, congratulations.
thank you. We're doing it. We're staying alive. We're staying alive. Now let's see.
Good.
We went the fun route with the superpower. Now, if I put a curse on you and you can only listen to one song for the rest of your life, what would it be?
And it would be a curse.
I mean, it's just one song. That's the only song you can listen to. No other song will play for you.
No other song. Well, I would probably want it to be very, very long, because it would bring down the amount of times I'd have to listen to it. I'm feeling in this nostalgic kind of Thanksgiving-y kind of mood right now. I grew up in Massachusetts, out in the western side of the state near the Berkshires, and there's a song that's played every Thanksgiving um, in New England, and it's a song by Arlo Guthrie, and I don't know if you've ever heard it before. But it goes like this. It goes, "You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant," and it's called the Alice's Restaurant Massacre in four-part harmony, and it is about 30 minutes long.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. So that would be less torturous.
Yeah,
And
that's a
like, yeah, if you put a curse on me where I had to listen to the worst thing ever, oh boy, that opens some doors that I don't want to talk about.
exactly. We're not gonna open those doors where
Thank you.
people's feelings could get hurt.
I know.
People feelings get hurt way too easily.
Yeah, they do.
Gotta be careful now.
Uh-huh.
Either that or YouTube gets mad and hits me with copyrights.
Oh,
YouTube.
bastards.
I mean, it's been fun.
Oh yeah. Oh
It
yeah.
is what it is. All right, so we listened to Alchemy, so now let's talk Native Son.
Native Son, I wrote. So I lived on Cape Cod for a while, in Massachusetts, and I don't. Can you hear me? Oh, okay, you're muted. And there's a tribe out there called the Wampanoag Indians. I've always had this uh, fondness for Native Americans, mainly because of what the Europeans did to them and wiped them out. The Trail of Tears was a very it touched me so much, knowing about that and knowing about basically how we wiped out the Native Americans. Um, so I had written a song when I was with Kill Ritual years ago, and it was for what happened at Standing Rock, and the song was called Sin. And it was so powerful for me to write that song and pass it off to the people, you know, um, that are at Standing Rock to use if they wanted to. But I just got hit inspired. The music reminded me of almost like a of a tribal kind of uh, chant or kind of a dance, you know, like doing the ghost dance. So in the video, that's an actual Wampanoag tribe from Cape Cod doing this dance. And so I wanted to cover the gamut of all the tribes in America, in the Americas, Canada included, you know. Um, so I didn't do an A to Z. I did an A to W because of the Wampanoag, but you know Apache to Wampanoag. So I covered as much of the gamut as I could. But I think, yeah, this is for the Native American people.
I'm
There
back.
you are.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
StreamYard has been playing tricks on me. I mean,
Oh,
no hate, StreamYard, no hate, but you know,
I was gonna go grab my guitar and just like start
I mean,
jamming.
Geo Nix pushed the button again. I mean, not this time. It wasn't me this time, I promise. Anyways, Native Son, incredible song. If you have a chance after this, go check out the band War Party. We had War
Okay.
Party as guests here. They are amazing artists, and
Okay. Yeah, I will. I'll write that down.
yeah, War Party with 2A, WAAR Party.
Oh, smart.
I mean,
Makes
you
it
know,
easier to find.
exactly. Just so when you click that, you don't get like a million research. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's let's set it up here with Native Son. There's so many buttons to press. I mean, we're good. We got it. We'll be right back, guys. Well, welcome back to the NYXUS podcast. I'm with David Reed Watson from the band Alchemy Fire. This was Native Son. Awesome job. The video, the music. Good job, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we're getting close to the end of the episode. Before I finish the episode, I always ask the NYXUS question. But before we get there, I would like to ask, because I ask every musician that comes on here and that has experience, that has, there's a lot of upcoming artists. There's a lot of artists like myself that are trying to get into, trying to get to do music as a full time. So what advice would you give somebody that's starting, somebody that the bands that are here listening?
Number one, be true to yourself and don't listen to anybody else. You're going to get a lot of people and as you climb up the ladder, more people tell you how much you suck. And, so staying true to yourself is very important. And yeah, don't quit. Whatever you do, don't quit. There's always a process, to developing yourself as a musician. And I think I am better than what I was 20 years ago. And it's only because I've put my heart and soul into it and really worked at my craft to get to where I'm at. I don't think that's true with music, that, the older you get, you're just a has-been. No, you get better. You get much better, especially singers. If they take care of their instrument, they get better. Their range gets better. Their depth gets better. Their voice gets better as far as their writing goes. So it's very important just to put the blinders on and don't listen to the riffraff. I think the best advice ever given to anybody, and I'm still fall victim of it, is don't read your reviews. Just don't. Let them go. Let them go out there in the ether and let them be.
Very good advice. Very good advice.
Yeah.
Don't shape your opinion of yourself on the opinion that somebody has of you.
Exactly. And so, I mean, if you're a really talented artist, you're going to get a lot of people blowing smoke up your ass and telling you how great you are. Yeah. And that's going to affect you and your writing, because you're going to start molding yourself to, oh, well, that worked, so I'm going to go that direction. I've seen it happen with so many bands, and so many bands that I love, that just went in a direction of, oh, this works. For me, when I was a kid early on, Phil Collins, I loved Phil Collins when he was the drummer and then the singer of Genesis for a while. But then he started molding himself into this kind of almost like a Michael Bolton kind of,
What people want to see, what people want to hear.
Yeah.
Instead of saying truth to themselves, yes.
Yeah,
well, that was some amazing advice.
Yeah.
But let's see if that's the same advice you would use for this question. This is a NYXUS question. We ask this question at every episode because, like I said earlier, mental health is very important. So we never know who could be watching now, who could be watching later, or listening when we put it up on streaming platforms, and that need to hear advice. So if you had a chance to sit down with a younger version of yourself, little David, what would you tell yourself? Could be at any age.
I would sit him down and go, don't give up, dude. You're gonna hit some bad areas, but you're gonna get out of it. And it's important that you do, because the people we touch in this world, it might be one person, it might be 10,000, it might be 20 million. We don't know, and we don't know what that effect does to that one person. I years ago, I was at NAMM, which is the music convention in Los Angeles, and a girl came up to me and said that I saved her life, and I didn't know how to handle it, I tried not to be rude, but I was just like, come on, really? Um, but it ate at me that I actually had an effect on someone in a positive way. And we don't know. And a lot of those people will never meet. A lot of those people they'll never tell us,
Yep.
you know?
Yep. The music is a great way to connect with other people. I know that since I've been doing this, um, something was missing in my life. I stopped doing music for a few reasons, you know what I mean? And it was missing. Something was missing. So I started doing this. Now we're taking pictures at shows. We actually go out to shows and start taking pictures for them, use for bands, and for, you know, next weekend we're going to actually take pictures for a video premiere for a band. I mean, it's very
Okay.
exciting. The music world is incredible,
Yes, it is.
and the support that you can get from other artists and from music is incredible.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Some of the best artists that I know, and up there the ladder, they're actually nicer,
Yep,
you know.
yep. And
They're,
don't be
they
afraid to go talk to the bands, especially like before the set. Some bands are a little. They like to, you know, keep their focus, but after the show, most of the bands, like so far, all the bands that I've seen, are just happy to talk to you after the show and
oh yeah.
go to the merch booth, and they talk to you, and they, you know, uh,
Yep.
don't be afraid to tell them like you like their music and you support them. Buy that merch. Keep buying that
Oh,
merch.
merch is essential. I was the merch girl for when I was on tour. Yeah. I was the guy standing behind there selling the merch, and they'd be like, "Weren't you just on stage?" Yeah, you know.
I
But it
think
was
I prefer going to buy merch if I'm gonna get to meet the band and not the band's. I mean, how can I say this? Girlfriend, mom,
right.
whoever, you know what I mean. You're in the band. Come on, chill at your table, meet your
Yeah,
fans. You know, it's
yeah,
important to cut that barrier between, uh, you know, musician and fan. I mean, you guys do touch people. The music does touch a lot of people. So
yeah, yeah. And we don't know for, like you said, it could be years from now. It could be
yep.
tomorrow. We don't know. We
I
don't
mean,
know.
my kids now are listening to music that I listened to when I was growing up, and I'm like, you know, what is going on? Like, my, they're, it's incredible the music that's coming back, and that's because of TikTok and all that social media. But
Yep.
I mean, it's incredible. It's, I mean,
Agreed.
my kid dressed up as a juggalo for Halloween, like an ICP introduced in my house, but it's okay. It is what it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, David,
yeah.
it was incredible having you guys. In about an hour, I will be back live. It's a two interview night, it seems like tonight.
All right.
We will be back with Shovel Monster to talk about their new album that just came out on Halloween.
Ah,
Uh,
congratulations.
Gio said merch is gas money and Pop Tarts and guitar strings and stage lights. It's all about playing the music for the fans. Absolutely.
He's absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely right. Stay away from the Pop Tarts as much as you can, though.
Oh,
So,
Pop Tarts are good though. We like Pop
too much,
Tarts.
too much sugar.
That's true. That's true. That's Pigeon as always. It was a pleasure to have you here, JD. Thank you. David, thank you for taking the invitation. Ben, once again, thank you for sending David my way. Guys, do your thing. You know what to do. Follow, subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Geo,
Please.
stop,
Yes.
stop flipping my tables, Geo. Stop flipping my tables. Just go like. Alchemy Fire. David, do you
Correct.
have a personal page also that we can go follow?
Yeah, it's my name. It's David Reed Watson. REED is my middle name. DavidReedWatson.com. It's got all my music. It's got my whole discography from everything I've done throughout my history, and I also have a whole playlist of cover songs that I put up there, and from all genres.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
We're gonna. I'm gonna go and explore that a bit later.
Awesome.
Before I let you go, any last words for the people that are here right now, or the people that could be listening? Oh.
Is it that way?
That way. Yeah.
Purple vinyl. This is purple. The
Oh, wow.
record is purple. Go buy it. Help support us. It's great stuff. If you can't afford the record, get the CD.
Come on, guys, get the vinyl. Vinyls are they're coming back. Everybody's gonna get those vinyls.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Support, buy that merch. Merch goes pretty much all in people's pockets.
Yep.
It's the
We've got
best
T-shirts. We've also got T-shirts coming out too. And
Awesome.
T-shirts, beanies. We're
So we
getting the
just
gamut.
follow the Facebook page, and we're gonna be able to get all that information.
Yep. We actually have our friend Fiona runs our fan page. We don't call it fan page though. It's the Alchemy Fire family,
Okay.
and they can go join that group, and she keeps us up to date too.
Gio said, "Want? I'm going shopping."
All right, thank you, Gio. Thank you.
Gio has an amazing deck of cards. He's doing Series 2, so get in contact with him if you want to add Alchemy Fire. Gio, I'm going to have to get my card and always keep it here so I keep showing it.
What, like tarot cards?
It looks like it's cards, but it's all the bands. And then you have your
Oh.
QR code at the bottom. So it's the deck of many bands, I think he called it. I'm sorry, Gio. My brain is, hashtag not
Oh
sponsored.
yeah.
No, I am
Thank
not
you.
sponsored, but I support everybody, musician and other people.
Yeah. Gio, reach out to me. I'd be interested in that for sure.
Awesome. I do believe that we need to support each other, small businesses and everybody.
Oh, yeah.
alike.
Definitely.
All right,
Definitely.
guys. Well, I will catch you guys in about an hour. David, it was a pleasure having you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Melanie.
Good night,
Take
guys.
care. Peace.